Another pattern is Mediator, which also you have kind of seen but never quite realized that you were using it. A graphical user interface program that you typically construct in Java, whether it is Swing or Auth or Java effects, doesn't matter. They are usually mediators. What do we mean? Well, in a mediator, we are trying to solve the following problem. We have a large number of objects and they have many pairs of them interacting. So it could be like a chat room. You have a large number of people who want to talk to each other. And so there are lots of communication paths. So the large number of communication paths is an issue in such environments. How do you have everybody listen to everybody? That becomes very difficult to code. Or it could be in the graphical user interface, we have a large number of widgets. You could have many buttons, you could have many text fields, many text areas, and there are all kinds of interactions between them. When you click a certain button, stuff in some text field may be transferred to some other text field. You may have some other buttons disabled. The text area might be cleared. So there are a lot of interactions among the widgets. So how do you take care of all this? What we do is, instead of having a large number of communication paths, we have just one object in the middle, which we call a mediator, to which everybody communicates. So an object here would never talk directly to any other object. None of these blue objects here would talk to each other directly. They would all send messages to the mediator, and the mediator will decide who gets the messages. So the mediator knows who each person wants to talk to and then adjust the message flow. So you can see that instead of having n squared communication paths, where n is the number of participants, we have n communication paths. So this is a lot simpler to visualize and implement. So it reduces coupling. Not everybody has to know about everybody else. Everybody should know about the mediator and maybe have some knowledge of the functionality of the other ones, but in a very general way. It doesn't have to know exactly the methods of all the others. It just needs to know how to communicate to the mediator and how to get messages from the mediator. But they would all be having some common methods, but that is not quite coupling. We'll see that in a second. So what I mean is this: all these blue boxes that we saw here, all these blue ones, they are called colleagues. So they all inherit from a common interface. So there are some methods here which everybody inherits and implements. They all know that others can do certain minimal things, but they don't have to know much more than that about anybody else. So that is why this coupling is minimal. The mediator is an interface. The colleague is an interface. So the colleague knows what the mediator can do. And there is an implementation of the mediator here, the concrete mediator, and they correspond with the individual colleagues. So this mediator, the concrete mediator, maintains a reference to every colleague object. So as I said before, examples would be a chat room or a Java graphical user interface program. What could be a problem? well, we reduced coupling, but what could happen is if the mediator does other things, application related things, then it does both mediation meaning getting messages across, acting like a switchboard or that kind of stuff, plus application processing. So there is a danger that this is not very cohesive. Okay. So for example, if you have a stage in a Java FX program, it could be handling all the button clicks and other events, mouse clicks, and whatever other things you have, like keyboard clicks and keyboard typing and all that. And it could also be doing a lot of application processing. Then it is not a very cohesive module. If that is the case, then you need to separate the functionalities. So the mediation should be done by one object and the application processing should be done by a second object. So you should split that class if that is the case.